Here's the thing about money in America. It doesn't just change what you own. It changes what you see when you open your eyes. At $28,000 a year, you wake up at 5:47, not because of an alarm, because the kid upstairs dropped something heavy on the floor at 5:47 every single morning. Your apartment has one window. It faces a brick wall 3 feet away. The fridge has 3 things in it. 2 of them are condiments. You don't check your bank account. You already know the number. You've known since the 15th. At $280,000, you wake up to silence. The coffee is already brewing. You set it the night before on a machine that cost more than your first month's rent used to be. The window takes up an entire wall. The city looks like a map from up here. You check your phone, not your bank account. Your calendar. The distance between these 2 mornings is about $250,000 a year. Same city, same Tuesday, same sunrise, hitting the same buildings. But everything between those 2 windows, the air, the light, the first thought in your head is a different country. Let's start at the bottom floor and walk through every one. $28,000 a year. That's $2,333 a month before taxes. After taxes, after rent, after the electric bill and the phone plan you split with someone you barely talk to anymore, you're working with about $190 a week for everything. Food, gas, the thing your kid needs for school on Thursday that you forgot about until Wednesday night.
You learn to do math without a calculator, not algebra, survival math, the kind when you stand in the grocery aisle and subtract in your head. Chicken thighs, not breasts. Store brand, everything. You know the per ounce price of peanut butter by heart. You know which day the markdown stickers go on the bread. You don't think of this as budgeting, it's just how your brain works now. Your car is a 2009 Civic with 187,000 miles on it. The check engine light has been on since March. You Googled it. It's probably the oxygen sensor. You'll fix it when you can. You've been saying that for 4 months. You drive it to work at 6:15 a.m. because parking is free before 6:30, and after 6:30, it's $12. And $12 is lunch for 2 days. The window in your apartment faces the parking lot. You can see your car from the kitchen. That's not a comfort. It's surveillance. You watch it because the catalytic converter on the neighbor's Honda got stolen last month. Yours is next, if you're not paying attention. Your phone lights up, bank notification. Not because you said it, because the bank sends an alert when your balance drops below $100. It drops below $100 on the 26th of every month, like clockwork. You swipe it away without looking. You already know. Now, add $22,000 to your life. $50,000, same city. Watch what shifts. The roommate is gone. That's the first thing. Not because you wanted to live alone, because at $50,000, you can afford to. A 1-bedroom, small, but yours. The closet door still doesn't close all the way, but nobody else's shoes are in it.
The fridge changes, not dramatically, but enough. There's milk that isn't expired. There's actual produce in the drawer. You still buy store-brand pasta, but the coffee is name brand now. That's the trade-off that marks this floor. You don't upgrade everything. You pick the one thing that matters and upgrade that. For you, it's the coffee. You stop doing math in the grocery store. Not completely, but the subtraction is looser now. You don't count the per ounce anymore. You just grab. If it's under $5, it goes in the cart. That threshold, the I don't have to calculate this line, is the most honest income marker in America. At $28,000, it's about $1.50. At $50,000, it's $5. At $100,000, it'll be $20. But you're not there yet. The check engine light is off. Not because you fixed the oxygen sensor, because you have a different car. A 2018 Corolla. Used, but not old. Payments are $287 a month. You can feel that number every month, but it doesn't break anything. The window from your apartment still faces a parking lot, but the car in it is newer, and you sleep a little deeper because nobody wants to steal the catalytic converter off a Corolla. Not yet. Your phone still lights up, but it's different now. The low balance alert, you changed the threshold to $50 and it stopped going off. That silence, the absence of that notification, is the first luxury. Not the apartment, not the car, the quiet phone. You're still not comfortable, but you're no longer drowning. The water went from your chin to your chest. You can breathe, you just can't swim yet. $75,000. You crossed a line and you didn't even notice. Not a celebration line, a A quiet one, the kind where you're standing in the cereal aisle and you realize you just grabbed the $6 granola without checking the price. You put it in the cart, you kept walking. 3 months later, you realize you haven't opened the calculator app since September. That's the $75,000 moment. Not a new car, not a vacation. The disappearance of arithmetic. Your apartment has 2 bedrooms now. The second one is half office, half storage for things you'll organize next weekend. You've been saying next weekend since you moved in. The closet door closes. The fridge has things in it you bought because you wanted them, not because they were on sale. There's a $12 bottle of olive oil on the counter. A year ago, you would have bought the $4 one without thinking. Now you buy the $12 one without thinking. Same autopilot, different shelf. The window faces a street. Not a skyline, a street, trees, a neighbor walking a dog. It's not a view, but it's not a wall anymore. Your phone buzzes. You check it. It's not the bank, it's a calendar reminder. Dentist at 3. You have dental insurance now. Not the kind where you still pay $200 after the coverage. The kind where you walk in, walk out, and forget about it. You didn't know that was possible until it happened. The absence of that $200 decision is invisible, but it changed your Tuesday.
The grocery run takes 18 minutes. You don't make a list anymore. You just walk through and grab. The cart fills differently. More fresh, less frozen. You notice other people's carts sometimes. The one with nothing but ramen, hot dogs, and a 2-liter of store-brand soda. You remember that cart. It was yours. Now, 100,000. The number you circled in your head for years. The number that was supposed to feel like arrival. You get there, and here's what nobody tells you. It doesn't feel like anything. Your rent is $2,100 for a 2-bedroom in a neighborhood where you can walk to dinner. You lease a car, a 2024 something. It's nice. It's fine. The payment is $480 a month, and it doesn't register as pain anymore. You eat out twice a week. You have a savings account with actual money in it. You bought a couch that wasn't from a marketplace listing. Life is fine, but the math didn't disappear. It moved. At $28,000, the math is survival. At $100,000, the math is comparison. You check Zillow on Sunday mornings, not because you're buying, because you're measuring. You look at houses in your neighborhood and calculate what you'd need to afford one. The answer is always more. The down payment alone is 4 months of gross salary. You Google, how much house can I afford at $100,000? And the answer makes you close the tab. Your friends from college, the ones who went into tech, into finance, they're buying. You're not. And the gap isn't about intelligence or effort. It's about which door opened at 22. You chose a different hallway. The hallway was fine, but it leads to a different floor.
The BLS says spending rises 38% between $75,000 and $100,000, but savings barely move. That's the trap of this floor. You earn more, you spend more. The distance between you and broke doesn't grow as fast as you expected. You thought 6 figures was the top of something. It's the middle of everything. Your phone lights up. You check it. Not the bank, not the calendar. Instagram. Someone you went to high school with just bought a boat. You put the phone down. The fridge is full. The window faces a tree-lined street. The morning is quiet. And for the first time, the problem isn't money. The problem is that you thought money would solve the problem. $150,000. This is the floor where you start buying something you can't hold. Time. You hire someone to clean your apartment every 2 weeks. $160 a month. You could do it yourself. You used to do it yourself, but now you do the math differently. Your hourly rate, the real one, after you divide your salary by waking hours, not just work hours, is about $48. 3 hours of cleaning costs you $144 in time. So you pay someone $160 and get a Saturday back. That's the first time money buys you a day instead of a thing. The fridge is full. Not just full, curated. There's a meal delivery on Tuesdays. Not the cheap kind with the recyclable trays, the one with the glass containers and the handwritten note from the chef. $340 a month. You don't think about it. It shows up, you eat it. The grocery run still happens, but it's for wine and snacks now, not for the week's survival.
The window faces a park. First time you've had green in the frame. You didn't choose this apartment for the view. You chose it for the walk score. 92. You can get to a restaurant, a gym, and a dry cleaner without starting the car. The car sits in a garage underneath the building. $200 a month for the spot. You pay it because the alternative is circling the block for 20 minutes. And 20 minutes is worth more than $200 now. Your phone buzzes. It's your financial advisor. You have a financial advisor now. Not the kind from the bank who hands you a pamphlet. Someone you pay $2,500 a year to tell you things like max out your backdoor Roth and have you considered an umbrella policy? You don't fully understand what an umbrella policy is, but you're not, because at this floor, not understanding something financial feels dangerous in a way it never did before. At $50,000, you didn't know what you didn't know. At $150,000, you know exactly what you don't know, and it keeps you up. Now, $250,000. The dinner table changes, not the table itself, what's on it, the conversations. You used to talk about what you wanted to do. Now you talk about what you need to protect. The 401k is maxed. The brokerage account has 6 figures in it. You own a home, a 3-bedroom in a neighborhood with a wait list for the elementary school. Your mortgage is $3,200 a month. You can handle it, but handling it at $250,000 means something different than it meant at $75,000. At $75,000, handling it meant surviving. At $250,000, handling it means not losing what you built. The anxiety doesn't shrink, it changes shape.
At $28,000, you were afraid of running out. At $250,000, you're afraid of sliding back. You've seen it happen. The colleague who got laid off at 44 and couldn't find anything at the same level. The neighbor who over-leveraged on a second property and went quiet for 6 months. You watched, you learned, and now you hold on tighter. Not because you're greedy, because you remember what the lower floors felt like. And you can't go back. The window faces a backyard now, your backyard. There's a fence, a grill you use on Sundays, a patch of grass your kid runs across. It's quieter here, quieter than any floor before. But the quiet has a texture. It's the sound of someone calculating. Your phone lights up. Not the bank, not Instagram, your accountant. It's April. The number on the screen is what you owe in taxes. It's more than you made in a year at your first job. You put the phone down. You look out the window. The yard is green, the house is warm, and somewhere between the grill and the fence, you realize you haven't dreamed about anything in months. You've only been maintaining. $500,000 a year. You crossed into the top 1% and nobody threw a parade. There's no certificate, no moment. Just a number on a tax return that your accountant flags with a yellow highlight and a sigh. People stop asking what you do, they start asking what you own.
At a dinner party, and you go to dinner parties now, the kind with cloth napkins and a cheese course. Someone asks where you summer. Not if you go on vacation, where you summer. As a verb, you answer. You have an answer. A place in Maine. Rented. Not owned. You could own. You've thought about it, but owning a second property at this level means managing a second property. And managing means another thing pulling at your calendar. And the calendar is already full of things that pull. The fridge in your kitchen is a Sub-Zero. You didn't choose it. It came with the house. The house came with a lot of things you didn't choose. A wine fridge you half use. A mudroom you fully ignore. A guest bedroom that's been a guest bedroom for 14 months without a single guest. The house is 3,400 square feet. You live in about 1,200 of it. The rest is furniture, holding space for a life you planned but haven't started. The window's floor to ceiling now. The view is a skyline, not a parking lot, not a street, not a backyard. Actual distance. You can see weather coming from miles away. On clear mornings, the light fills the room before you open your eyes. It's beautiful. You noticed it the first month. Now you walk past it to the coffee machine. Your phone lights up. It's not the bank. It's not the accountant. It's your property manager. A pipe burst in the rental. The repair estimate is $4,200. You approve it from the car without pulling over. $4,000. At $28,000, that was 2 months of survival. At $500,000, it's a Tuesday text you forget by Wednesday. But here's what nobody prepared you for. The building gets quieter as you go up. Your social circles shrank, not because people left, because you did. The friends from the $75,000 floor, the ones you used to grab beers with on Thursdays, you canceled 3 times, then 4. Then they stopped asking. You didn't mean to. You just got busy. Busy with what? You're not sure. The calendar is full, but when you look at it, nothing on it is something you chose. It's maintenance, meetings about money, calls about the house, emails from the accountant, the advisor, the property manager, the attorney. You have an attorney now. The top 1% threshold means your biggest expense isn't housing anymore, it's taxes. Your financial identity shifted from earning to preserving. Every dollar above a certain line feels less like progress and more like a target. You structure things. You optimize. You talk about tax-efficient vehicles at dinner. You became the person you used to find boring. The morning is silent. The house is warm. The coffee is excellent. And somewhere between the sub-zero and the skyline, you realize the climb didn't take you higher, it took you further away. $1 million a year. Money stops buying comfort. It starts buying something harder to name. Invisibility. You don't wait in lines anymore. Not because you're important, because the lines were designed for you to skip. The airport has a separate entrance. The restaurant has a table that doesn't appear on the app. The doctor's office has a number you call that isn't the number on the website. You didn't ask for any of this. It just appeared. Like the wine at the dinner party. Nobody ordered it. It's just there.
The fridge is irrelevant. You don't open it. Someone stocks it. Someone else cooks from it. You eat what appears. The relationship between you and food, the one that started at $28,000 with condiments and survival math, is over. Food is no longer a decision, it's a service. You don't even know what milk costs anymore. Not because you forgot, because the information stopped mattering. The window is panoramic now. Not just floor to ceiling, floor to sky. You're high enough that the city below looks abstract. Cars are dots. People are pixels. The sunrise isn't something you notice. It's something that happens to the room while you're reading the Financial Times on a tablet that costs more than some people's monthly rent. You used to look out windows. Now you live inside one. Your phone lights up. It's not a person. It's your family office. You have a family office now. 3 people whose job is to manage what you've accumulated. They send a weekly summary, holdings, allocations, tax projections. You read the first line and skim the rest. The number has enough digits that it stopped feeling like money and started feeling like score. 5 million, 10 million. The jumps blur here. The differences between $1 million and $10 million aren't visible from the outside. The house gets bigger, but you don't. The car gets quieter, but you don't. The vacations get longer, but the rest doesn't come. At this altitude, the thing that changes most isn't what you own, it's what you worry about. At $28,000, you worried about rent. At $100,000, you worried about comparison. At $500,000, you worried about preservation. At $10 million, you worry about legacy. What happens to all of this when you're gone? Whether your kids will know what the lower floors felt like, whether they should. The morning is perfectly silent. The coffee is made by someone you've never met. The window shows a horizon that stretches past the city, past the suburbs, past the edge of anything you can name. It's the best view money can buy. You walk past it. Here's what you learn after walking through every floor. The person at $28,000 and the person at $10 million wake up in the same city, on the same morning, under the same sky. One checks a bank balance, the other checks a portfolio summary. Both are thinking about money before their feet hit the floor. At $28,000, the fridge had 3 things in it. At $10 million, someone else stocks it. But in both kitchens, the fridge tells the truth. It always has. At $28,000, the window faced a brick wall. At $10 million, it faces a horizon. But somewhere along the climb, you stopped looking. The view got better, the looking stopped. At $28,000, the phone was a threat, a notification you already knew was coming. At $10 million, the phone is a dashboard, numbers so large they stopped feeling like yours. At both ends, the phone lights up. At both ends, you put it down and stare at something else for a moment. The distance between floors isn't measured in dollars, it's measured in what disappears. At $28,000, choice disappears. At $50,000, the roommate disappears. At $75,000, the math disappears. At $100,000, the illusion disappears. At $150,000, the chores disappear. At $250,000, the dreams disappear. At $500,000, the friends disappear. At $1 million, the person you used to be
disappears. Each floor gives you something. Each floor takes something. And the elevator doesn't tell you what the price is until after the doors close. Same city, same morning, 5:47 a.m.
In a studio apart on the second floor, the kid upstairs drops something heavy. You open your eyes. The ceiling has a crack that's been there since you moved in. The fridge hums in the dark. You already know what's in it. You already know what's in your account. You lie there for a second and think about the day, not the year, not the future, the day, because the day is all you can carry. In a penthouse 42 floors above, the silence wakes you, not a sound, the absence of sound. The ceiling is 14 feet high. The fridge is somewhere in a kitchen you cross on the way to a coffee machine that knows your order. You don't know what's in it. You don't need to. You lie there for a second and think about what? Not the day. The day runs itself, not the money. The money manages itself. You think about something you can't quite name, a feeling, like you left something on a lower floor and you can't remember which one. The sunrise hits both windows at the same time. One window is 2 feet wide and faces a brick wall. The other spans an entire wall and faces a city that looks like a map. The same light, the same warmth. Two different versions of morning, separated by about $400,000 a year, and an entirely different relationship with time, risk, and self. You walked through every floor. You saw the fridge change from condiments to produce to olive oil to meal kits to a sub-zero nobody opens. You saw the window change from wall to parking lot to street to park to backyard to skyline to horizon. You saw the phone change from threat to silence to reminder to comparison to advisor to accountant to property manager to family office to dashboard. You saw the worry change from running out to falling behind to sliding back, to preserving, to legacy. The worry never disappeared. It just moved upstairs. And now you're standing at the top, the best view money can buy. The quietest morning in the building, the fullest fridge, the emptiest room. You thought the question was how to get to the top floor. It was always which floor you can live with.